Welcome to W.Media. This is the W.Media Podcast, our exclusive series of panel discussions and interviews featuring the who's who of the global cloud and data center industry. This is your one-stop destination for expert opinions and insights from movers and shakers and everyone that matters in the data center industry. I'm Deborah Gray and I serve as editor-in-chief here at W.Media. My co-host for today is my colleague Benjamin Carr, Director of Business Development. Hi, Benjamin.
Hi, thank you, Deborah. In today's episode, we will take a deep dive into the complex yet exciting world of connectivity and cybersecurity. Joining this panel discussion are our special guests from Neutrality Nexera Batam, CEO Indrama Yusuf Mudapurba, and COO Calvin Wong. I had the pleasure of meeting them at the piling ceremony earlier this month in Batam, where they began the construction of a new hyperscale data center. And yes, we're very happy to have them. But before we move forward, a word from our sponsors, Deborah.
This episode is brought to you by Interconnect World, where W.Media brings together connectivity experts, decision makers, including telcos, internet service providers, internet exchanges, investors in technology, media and telecom, government agencies, and enterprise leaders to share their expertise and experience. Interconnect World comes to Batam, Indonesia on July 15 and Johor, Malaysia on July 16. Interconnect World Forum will also be held in Sydney, Australia on August 7. For more information, please visit interconnectworld.com.
And now, let's dive into our first segment on connectivity. I will take the first question. So we all heard about 5G, and a lot of people say that it's more of an evolution than a revolution. So I wanted to ask you, is the hype around 5G justified, or are we overestimating its impact on business connectivity? And also, how realistic is it to expect AI-driven 5G networks to revolutionize connectivity in regions like Batam or Singapore?
I think the hype surrounding 5G is largely justified. Given its potential to revolutionize business connectivity through significant improvement in speed, low latency, and increased network capacity. However, I think it is essential to temper expectation with a realistic understanding of the challenge and timeline involved. Speed and bandwidth. 5G technology offers much higher data speed compared to 5G, of course, or to 4G, of course. But it depends on the region or nation that implied. It's related with the spectrum that they have, and also the network, the infrastructure ready. That should be taken into consideration. But for characteristic or like low latency network capacity, I think that one of the requirement, because on the piling ceremony we state that our data center is ready to AI. So this is one of the requirements that should be available around the surrounding between Batam, especially to Singapore. So I think the challenge is not only for the government to take the spectrum, but also to the interconnection or interconnectivity with the devices, with the other region like Singapore, and also regulatory and secure concern, because this is should be also AI ready for support the AI. Yeah, Pak Kapin, maybe you want to add.
Yeah. So let me kind of connect the dots together, exactly what Pak Indrama is talking about. There are two important things about mobile network, and that, like anything else, the resource is frequency, and it's very limited. So what 5G has done is enable to use it more efficiently. So that's a direct benefit. But more importantly, finally in the 5G network, we were able to enable us to create what you call multiple level of service markers within the frequency control. Now, what 5G is really targeted for is enterprise business. For the first time in the GSM world, we now have a mobile network that are designed for enterprise to exploit, not as a handphone, but as an ability to support multiple applications over what we call, the mobility lifestyle. Example, the ability to connect a lot of factories together with robotics that needs to connect to some data center where the cloud application may be sitting that manages that logistic hub or that factory, wherever there may be. And this is really what 5G brings to the enterprise world. And I think that's the main exploitation we are going to see in the next couple of years. And data center, therefore, play an important supporting actor role to enable enterprise to take advantage of this 5G network. And that's important.
Perfect. But Indrama, do you think businesses are too reliant on traditional connectivity solutions, potentially missing out on emerging technologies?
Yeah, I think we should, take advantage from the advance of the technology. Like currently in our parent company, NutraDC, they implement the AR, augmented reality, to help the customer in remote hand, so they can see what our staff, our team doing something in data hall, but led by them to see what happened. That need 5G or other network that fulfill the speed and also the capacity to do that in reality.
Kevin, you want to add to that?
No, I think Pak Indrama covered it very completely, and that's the advantage that we can leverage on mobility in the enterprise lifestyle by using 5G in the manner that he just described. There are many challenges ahead that needs to be sorted out, and one of the things that we will be trying to do is the ability to what we call have the 5G connectivity, because we are going to deploy an exchange in our data center that will support Paragon. It's a piece of software that we have developed in Singtel that enable some of these capability to take place. And this would allow enterprise customer, to connect their remote site to a data center where the application is. And we're going to use this as what we call IoT device to application exchange. And that's what we're trying to do. And with that, we can then enable a lot more exciting opportunities for our enterprise customer to look at.
Okay. That's very interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Indrama. How significant is the role of AI in achieving low latency connectivity for real-time application like AR and VR? Indrama, if you want to start.
Yeah, I think AI is essential for achieving low latency connectivity in real time. Application like I mentioned before, like AR, because network performance in terms of this, AI predict and prevent network congestion and dynamically allocate resources to optimize the bandwidth. Latency reduction, I think AI enable edge computing to process data closer to its source and optimize that data pathway for faster transfer, quality of service, and I think last but not the least is user experience.
Okay, thank you. Kevin, do you want to add to this?
Yes, I want to add to that very quickly. As I was saying, I think at the end of the day, latency is always been and has been and will be always a challenge for mobility application. It doesn't have to be AI driven. It is not AI driven. Today we have a latency problem even today without AI. For example, the current cloud environment, if you are running applications that are latency sensitive, like autonomous driving, So latency is an issue based on application, not based on whether it's AI or cloud. So I want to make sure that we're clear that there's a scary association of latency with AI. That's not true. Latency is something that is associated with the customer application. Okay, and it will be a challenge all the time, and therefore customers need to be very mindful when they select a data center. They have to understand what their application needs are, including the sensitivity to latency. And that's where someone like us come in with is not just a pure data center, but also a exchange of sort that are targeted to enable this latency to be conquered. So it's not something that's going to happen automatically. So that's a criteria that customer now needs to add to their selection process when they look at a data center. Yeah. I hope that explains.
I see. So I want to pick your brain on something else. How effective are IoT deployments vis-a-vis network security and scalability?
That's a really brilliant question, and that question always worries me because today there are two views of cybersecurity with IoT device. Let me explain the challenge of IoT device. We are talking about millions of devices out there. We're not talking about there's an estimate currently that for every individual, we will have 10 IoT devices to support the multiplicity of IoT is going to be more than 5 to 10 times the number of population of internet user. So now you start to imagine, you can now understand the challenge of not security, but authenticity. So how do I know that device is a legitimate device? So there are multiple ways of doing it. And one method that people are looking at is grading that device based on the signal that the thing that it transmits. And you start to give it a level of trust, as we call it. So you start by looking at the IoT device and I say, the level of trust I have for you is low. Let me see how you work and what you do for me. And then I increase my level of trust on that device. So whether those are private device or those are public device. So there are two types of IoT device. Okay. So for private device, it's easier. I can actually put a trust mark on it. Give you an example. We are likely to have a lot of IoT device inside our data center. Okay. So there are elements that we are now putting into place that those IoT device will be trusted, and we have a way of earmarking them. I'm not going to review how we're going to do it over air because that would be giving the game away. But there's a way to do it. So those are what you call trusted IoT device. There are going to be public IoT devices that are starting life that are not trusted, but we still need to engage and work with them. So like cameras, right? Remote cameras. So we then slowly, the intelligence that is going to be in the network will slowly give each of these devices a grade, and that reflects how much we can trust the device. That's how this is going to pan out. It is not a single solution basis. It's going to be a system-wide understanding of how to handle this.
Thank you, Gavin. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing this insight. I wanted to ask you about fiber optics. Is the investment in fiber optics justified given the potential of wireless technologies to deliver similar performance?
Right. Sorry, Indrama, do you want to answer
Indrama.
first, or shall I take it?
Yeah, I think this is about the performance. Yeah. Because Indonesia currently, if you know the viral or the hot topic right now, when Elon Musk used their what call it the satellite, LEO satellite, it's very challenging. But I think the fiber still superior in performance and also in pricing. Bandwidth and speed, yeah. Right now, fiber optic offers significantly higher bandwidth and faster data transmission speed compared to wireless. Even Elon Musk, but currently, yeah. But I don't know. But back again, in terms of bandwidth, in terms of regulation, because many countries have their own spectrum regulation according to their own needs, and of course, according to the weather, Indonesia kind of like C-band is very good, but KU band is not quite good because of the raining. So I think fiber optic still very good in investment and future proofing, and also in terms of capacity. I think fiber optic in technology advance also has advance in more modem right now. I can do 4 times or maybe even higher than that. So every investment will get the benefit from that, technology. In terms of security, I think I think we should also in terms of data integrity, secure, as they are difficult to tap without being detected. I think this is also one of the important thing. Reduce interference. Unlike wireless signal, I think fiber optic are immune to electromagnetic interference. Compared to them lah. But in case we should design our fiber optic in a good layout that cannot interfere by other transmission. But I think for conclusion, investment in fiber optic justified compared to wireless in what I mentioned before, like performance, also speed and capacity. Pak Kapin, you want to add?
Yeah. So, to support what Pak Indrama just said, that telecommunication organization throughout the world has always followed this dream of seamless connectivity. We used to have a collective term that says seamless connectivity in order to deliver information and action to help customers wherever they are, whenever they need it, and however they want to do it, right? So this ability to deliver seamless connectivity at a cost that's affordable requires us to have a network architecture that's multi-dimensional. Okay, and we can't go away from that. It has to be multi-dimensional, meaning fiber is one of the key elements that reduces the distance, because the only other wireless network that helps do that is satellite, but it will have performance and capacity issue that a fiber doesn't have. And for the last mile is always about mobile network. So it's about integrating all these different elements of different network together to create the seamless capability for telcos to be able to touch every customer, both corporate and consumer. So yes, the answer is there is going to be a continual need to continue for investing in fiber, to connect the longer distance part, to connect not just country, but cities and towns together in order to make this a connected world.
So if I get you gentlemen right, we basically are juggling a lot of things. There are many variables, there are many things that we need to look at. And Rama, I was wondering, are we getting our priorities right? Or are we sacrificing security for scalability? Or are we sacrificing network reliability and latency for speed and bandwidth?
Our Indonesia has many islands. So we have to look at where we are, how we connected, because so many islands from Batam, like maybe from Singapore to Batam, we need fiber optic. We cannot do that via satellite. There's no, in terms of satellite itself, in terms of the bandwidth and capacity. But to connect to the remote area, I think we can use the what Elon Musk provide to us. I think we should get the where it located, but for Batam and Singapore, I think the investment should prioritize in fiber optic. Kevin, want to add what?
Question. Underlying it, because you talk about prioritizing and hidden there you talk about security. Okay, in the development of the human race, bad actors are always part and parcel of what we do today. So whether it is deploying technology or anything else, there will always be people who want to do bad things to whatever resources we have. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that we cannot stop our development and continue to progress the development of the networks or anything else to reach out to customers wherever they are, however they might need it. And at the same time, we also have to take care of the security element. We cannot stop doing things just because the bad actors are there. We got to ensure that as we roll out whatever we do, we have to do the best to kind of figure out where they're going to come in and how do we protect our network. So that's part and parcel of what we do today. So the straight answer to the question is that yes, we will continue to push the envelope of technology to continue to expand whatever it is, as long as it meets the customer's requirement.
Okay, I see. Talking about security, and you touch about the geopolitical tension that can arise and that it can pose a threat to connectivity. There are also natural disasters. So I wanted to know, how do we adequately prepare ourselves for the potential disruption in connectivity caused by those two last elements?
There are no single way of protecting. The standard procedure would have to be duplicity in the way the networks are being laid out. The fact that we are still different telcos around the region, and it's not just in Indonesia, everywhere, continue to look at satellite. Pak Indrama has already explained some telcos are even announcing connectivity via the satellite through Starlink as a backup. So these are different elements that is at our disposal for us to build a network fabric that enable us to be able to bypass any disaster when it happens. Now, natural disaster already happens today. And one of the elements that data center plays a major role in recovering from network disaster is actually data centers themselves, right? For example, the undersea earthquake in Taiwan, where today a lot of our north-south cables transit over, and that has constantly been bringing some of the cables down. And to do the recovery, it will be in some of the data centers in Singapore. Whenever those cables are falls over, there's a lot of data centers that are very busy where the telcos will reroute those networks to keep it up and keep it functioning well. So data centers are also playing an important role in ensuring that the entire network fabric can recover, or you can isolate and recover it and then set it up again. So yes, this is happening today as we speak. So it is part and parcel of what we need to do when we build our network, not just for one company, but for all participating companies.
Okay. It's very interesting that it's you have to work with your peers and your partners and some of your competitors to ensure security.
Yeah, and Benjamin, the word I've coined for a long time, for the last 20 years, is that our industry is not about competition and it's not about cooperation. It's about co-opetition. Cooperation and compete together at the same time. So it's called co-opetition, right? That was a term that I used about 15 years ago to describe our industry, and that continues to be relevant today.
Okay. I like this word. I'll start using it now.
You
Thank you, Kevin.
you can have it. It's a public domain word that I used
Okay.
50 years ago. Please use it. I won't
Okay.
charge you. No IP.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, speaking of connectivity nightmares, Benjamin, I was wondering before we dive into the next segment, have you been
Yeah.
following the story about the 3 subsea cables going down in Vietnam and their whole internet coming to a grinding halt? I mean, what have you been hearing about that?
Deborah, Carvin here.
Yes.
Let
Yeah.
me make a slight correction. The internet from day one, and I'm part of the internet generation because that's what I started off as a young network engineer many years ago. When we collaborated and designed the internet, it was designed to be self-healing. So technically, an internet cannot go down completely. It will degrade in performance when something has a problem. That's the way the internet was constructed. It doesn't die.
Um,
You can't kill the internet because there are too many nodes at stake, and there are many ways to reroute the traffic. But performance will definitely drop. Okay,
mm,
that's a significant advantage, and that's why the internet has survived over every other private network that was before us.
mm, mm, mm.
So whatever happened in Vietnam, they probably degrade the network, but it would not have killed the internet services there.
I see. I see.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, now let's dive into the next segment, which is on cybersecurity. I'll take the first question. Gentlemen, is the focus on employee training in cybersecurity overrated given the sophistication of modern cyber attacks?
I think in term of that, our employees should be aware and highly trained about that because so many attack right now, including in Indonesia. If you Google what happened right now, so I think people, especially in the our industry, should highly aware of this. Yeah, for our data center, like Kevin said, we have to defense and avoid from the external attack to our system, to control system. So many kind like now the the what like social engineering, all kind of that things. Uh, so our employees should be aware of that, highly trained, that every attack like social engineering should be uh, aware. So that's our system or control system, all the equipment in the mission critical facility should be secured, and all of them should be updated with what happened and what the kind like cyber attack right now, yeah,
I see.
including yeah, like you can name it, not only social engineering like phishing attack. I myself get phishing in the email, yeah, try to get my credit card, yeah, human element like that, security, culture, incident response, so many. And I think the government also, yeah, in terms of regulation, should stick. I mean, should care about this, yeah, because when the data is attacked by someone that can be misused, so I think this would be a many kind of uh, 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 people, including the government, should be involved.
See, Kevin, you want to add to that?
Yeah, very quickly, just to add on it, that there are two elements of from a personal level. One is awareness, and I think whether we are working as an employee or we're just individual, it's good. It is not just good; it's essential. Even my kids, I train them on cyber security awareness of how people can mislead and misuse you. So that's a natural element that I think all of our staff needs to understand. That's absolutely a hygiene factor today. If you don't understand that, then we need to make sure you understand that. For example, not clicking on your email that you don't know in case of phishing and all those are fundamental hygiene factors that people have to do. We have to train them. We have to create that awareness, and we have to make sure that the habitual process is in play. This is one of the unfortunate challenge of the digital age, right? Number one. Number two, something a little bit more sinister is that, cyber attacks are not that sophisticated. I hate to tell you because you talk about sophisticated. It's not. The simplest way the bad actors they need a password. And the simplest way to get a password is from the person who has a password. And one of the best way is if the people you hire, we need to do a lot of KYC on them and understand whether they have a debt or not. And these become their weakness. The people's internal weakness can be exploited by the bad actors in a very normal way because the guy owe a lot of money, right? He comes and threatens you. And then he said, give me your password. And the guy has to give it because he needs some money. So things like that are a little bit more sinister. And as an operating company, we'll have to do a lot more KYC, unfortunately, on the people and make sure that their lives are not going to be compromised by their own personal action. These are necessary action going forward. And these are things that we'll have to continue to monitor if we are running a data center. Okay. So these are the two elements to complement what Pak Indrama just said on the first question.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Indrama. A lot of businesses are adopting a multi-layered cybersecurity approach. Do you think it's becoming too complex and costly for businesses with a diminishing return on investment?
Yeah, I think a multi-layered cybersecurity approach might initially seems complex and costly, but I think it's very crucial investment. This is about trust. I think in the long term, we get the benefit, we get the return, we get all the customer need, especially in trust. What they put in our data center. I think we should aware of this. Yeah, make all our system multi-layered and make our employee aware and also aware of the technology and all of the recent attack. I think this multi-layered try to be make our customer become peace of mind. I think this multi-layer also can reduce significant risk to our data center and also faster detection and response. And in terms of regulatory compliance, also many industry are strictly regulated in terms of cybersecurity. And I think this is good also for the industry. And one last but not the least is our reputation. Like I mentioned before, yeah, we should protect our reputation by making our secure multi-layered so they have a peace of mind. And this is, I think, a long-term efficiency, not only thinking about the short term.
So let me just kind of, again, put the dots together based on what Pak Indrama says. So I'm going to do it this way. There are two ways to look at security, multi-layered or otherwise. One is that, are we an army base or are we a hotel? Right? Let's assume that these are two different elements that we need to protect. Now, if it's an army base, I don't need multi-layer. I just need one strong layer and I kick you out as quickly as possible. That's an army-based approach. You can't use that approach to protect a hotel because people and guests and people that are unknown has to walk in and out. So when you have to deal with a hotel scenario, you need to use multi-layer approach in order to ensure that you can identify the bad actors because you don't know who they are. You have to let everyone through. You understand why multi-layer versus single layer? So it depends on the application. So for example, now that you understand those two concepts, if this was a data center, my customers who are using the data center to sell services and let's say e-commerce and all that, they will employ multi-layer security to protect their asset, because their asset has to be accessed by everyone, and they don't necessarily only accept people that they know. Now, where else me as a data center operator, my systems are not open to for you to sell and buy things. So that would not necessarily have to be too many layers, but you won't even see me. You're not even going to be able to see where that door is to come to my system. So this is the two different aspects of layered security to be applied in different applications. I hope that that to complement what Pa Indrama is saying. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next question. And this has to do with AI, something that scares a lot of people, myself included, especially when it comes to AI and cybersecurity. And I've also been wondering if it's become more of a marketing buzzword than a practical solution for real world threats.
I think AI right now become a hot topic. Everything talking about AI. I think we should take a benefit of AI, like whether the AI can enhance threat detection. I think that's a good one. If they can analyze a fast amount of data at speed, uh, unattainable by human analysts, identifying patterns, and what else? Anomaly that like indicate potential threat. That's we can take into account what AI can do for our cyber security in real world. I think it's people or employees should it's a combination from AI, and then they can take a look the real world. I think this should be a cooperation between AI, like an employee using AI. I think it's a good what we call it. It's a good weapon for us, yeah, to protect our data center secure, and also maybe AI also can predict. Like they have a algorithm to predict the potential secure incident by analyzing historical data and maybe identifying trends, what happened in the world right now. This is also a proactive approach, because we don't want to happen first and then we can uh, solve that. But proactive approach, when AI can do it, I think it's a good in practical, in real world threats. And I think I don't know, maybe AI also can do the resource efficiency, where there is a blank spot for us in term to defend ourselves. I think that kind of thing, that AI has significant benefits, and of course the employee should take into account what should be taken, what should be step, what should be improved in our procedure, in our multi-layered security. Pak Kavin, you want to add?
Yeah, it's a very open question, Deborah. I'm not sure at what level AI technology has been currently used in the cyber array. What I do know is that machine learning has been very active for quite a long time, both by the bad actors and by the defensive side, right? That has been going on for the last 6 years now. A lot of active, what I call machine learning software, used to do the analytics that we're talking about on both sides fighting against one another. I am not sure at the moment. I'm sure when the time comes, it will be applied, but it will come with a double-edged sword, because you need to trust that. The big question I have is, how will you know that your AI logic is not going to go rogue on you? You understand? Similar to a guy that's working for you being turned, you are going to be subjected to your AI logic being turned by the opposition. So it's a little bit more complex. It's like playing three-dimensional chess. So I'm not sure yet, but it will come. And it's going to be interesting future when that comes. It's not that simple. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just saying that I think that Hollywood and the movie studios are going to write a lot about AI and everything happening and AI going rogue, and it can be very interesting.
Terminator, the movie, put the fear of AI in me.
Well, essentially, the fundamental question is, what is intelligence? Forget the artificial part. What is the underlying reason, rationale for human intelligence? So any human weakness and any drivers to intelligence that is human or non-human would be replicated in one form or the other. So ultimately, Aristotle has said the fundamentals of intelligence is curiosity, correct? You remember Aristotle said that fundamental of intelligence is curiosity. So if we enable our future AI agent to be able to develop its own self-curiosity, to continue to learn, it's driven by curiosity and not by the maker itself, want to start, then they will be subject to the same weaknesses human intelligence will be subjected to. So, I mean, it's a simple philosophical reason, and I'm not saying I support the Hollywood version, but hey, the movie makers are quite good at predicting the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for quoting Aristotle. We don't have quotes like that very often, and it's good to going back to the basics.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. No problem.
I'm going to move to the next question. So, a lot of people would argue that incident response plans are often very theoretical exercises, but that in real life, in real world cyber crisis situation, they might not really work. What is your take on that?
I think while our incident response plan can fall into the trap of being purely theoretical, but I think we have to ensure our plan are both practical and effective in real world scenario. I think this also not only plan, but we have to have a kind of like a regular drill and simulation that mirror potential cyber crisis situation, allowing our team to gain hands-on experience. Otherwise, they cannot anticipate what happened. At least they have a kind of drill. The incident response plan should be make them aware that will come someday into the real situation. Then they can at least they know what to do. They're not even stressed or and don't know what to do. So I think we have to be practical, and also in the response plan, in the incident response plan, I think we should put also the latest threat intelligence, the lesson learned that come from past incident. So that makes our approach, like I mentioned before, we have to proactive approach that help ensure that our response measure are robust, agile, and capable of mitigating real-world cyber threats effectively that come. We don't know what time, but I think at least we ready from our incident response plan to the the real crisis situation. At least we minimize our gap. So I think kind of like a pilot in aeroplane. They have to have a incident response. Otherwise, they take a manual book and then after that, what happened, right? So I think that's a good one. So we have a incident response plan often. It's not just a theoretical exercise, but that make us ready for the real situation.
So my simple add-on to that is that having a plan is better than not having one.
True.
And whether it is useful or not, I have been in my many years of experience of running data center, and we're not talking about just cyber incident. It could be any incident. When the incident is taking place, to have a plan available is immensely important as a point of reference, so that we know how we're going to make every call. And each call that we make could either escalate the incident or de-escalate the incident. So actually having a plan to guide us is actually essential. But we need to update those plans. That's the only thing I'll tell people. Update your plans, practice your plans, but have plans available to manage incidents, any type of incident for your business. That's my advice.
Plans also do need to jump through a lot of loopholes, especially when it comes to regulations and compliances. I was wondering, what do you gentlemen think? Are cybersecurity regulations and compliance requirements stifling innovation and agility in business, particularly in Singapore and Batam?
This is kind of, doing business become agile. I think the business people should also know uh, whether this secure or not. So I think cybersecurity regulation and compliance requirement is a must. Otherwise, doing the business also very risk if there is no kind of such thing. So I think not what happened right now. People when they want to put their server, they have to know that the the company adopted the cybersecurity act like in Singapore or maybe in Indonesia like PDPA. You know, uh, this is make them peace of mind to put their data center that to put their data or their server that content of the data that means business. So I think uh well, yeah, maybe this is also support the innovation. Why? Because attackers keep thinking how to attack the system. So I think we have to have also support our employee how to innovate, uh, how to make them secure, how to uh, make our customer become peace of mind to put their data business in our their server, of course, contain data business in our site. So I think uh, I'm not agree that this stifling the innovation and agile in business, but rather it's supporting. Rather, it makes the business become agile. You know what happened when one of the data center is down at a certain time. Their business is not agile right now. What finance institution like bank is very mad at, even one of 5 seconds cannot access the money in ATM or they're using their credit card. So uh, I think the cybersecurity regulation and compliance requirements should support the innovation and agile in business, whatever the data center located.
So I think one of the things that we need to clarify, and there's always a misunderstanding. The word innovation is grossly misunderstood. It doesn't mean breaking the rules or circumventing regulation. Innovation means how can I do it better? How can I do it with less effort? How can I do things at less cost? How do I address new needs? That's innovation. It's not about breaking current rules or current plan of action. So I think that's first thing we need to understand. And otherwise, innovation becomes a bad word, right? Now, and businesses worldwide, we can see whether it's business or politics today, the rule of law is essential to keep the various pieces, the geographical pieces, the business pieces, to cross-function together. We need to hold it together. The glue to a world that works every day is regulation. It has to be there. It keeps us together. So we cannot break it down, because by having no rules, what we have, the opposite of that is anarchy. And anarchy is never good for business. Okay, so that's my answer. Yes, we have to work within that, but we can still be creative. We can still innovate around all the regulations that we have around us. I think that's something we need to challenge ourselves to do.
That's such a beautiful way of putting it, Kevin. We need to basically learn how to color between within the lines, but we
Yes.
can choose what colors we choose.
That's correct.
Yeah, especially when we're supported by a government that really pushing for innovation. That's
Whether or not, it doesn't matter, because we all need to work within those. I think that's the interesting thing about our world over the whole the current new world, is to work within those lines, how to color those lines correctly, but keep the governance, because that's what keeps us together. Otherwise, the community won't work.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Indrama. Thank you, Kevin, for those last words and for your time on this podcast. And that's a wrap. We'll continue to bring you many more such panel discussions from our cloud and data center conventions from across the Asia Pacific and the Middle East.
And don't forget to sign up for our Interconnect World events. Please visit interconnectworld.com for more. We will be back in 2 weeks with yet another exciting episode of W.Media Podcast. Thank you for your time. Bye for now.